So high, I'm rolling. Okay. What's up, everybody? So, I just posted a video about addiction not being a disease. And I want to see what everybody has to say about it. Okay. So, you guys know that I'm a huge advocate for recovery, right? Like, I love helping people get sober. It's literally my passion. I love helping people just in general. Well, I have been paying attention to these people on TikTok who have been making videos, okay, about addiction. In fact, I'll wait for some people to get in here because I don't want to start talking and then y'all not be in here. But come in here and hear me out. And let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. So, I'm just going to start it out by saying I don't believe addiction is a disease anymore. And so we're going to discuss that. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So, come on in and remember, please be respectful, you guys. There's no reason to cuss somebody out because they have a different opinion than you, okay? And also, let me preface this by saying I believed addiction was a disease for a really long time, but I'm starting to think otherwise, okay? And I'm going to share with you why. So, all my life, I have been taught that addiction is a disease and that I'll never overcome it. Once an addict, always an addict, right? And that I'll always have this handicap where I can't be like normal people because I have the disease of addiction, right? And so that's what I believed. I listened to what people told me, and I would tell myself, I'm an addict. I'm always going to be an addict. I have to stay away from drugs and alcohol. I have to stay away from XYZ, all right? Listen to what I got to say, okay, guys? And so I believed that for 7 years. I'm 7 years sober. I've gotten to a place in my sobriety where I'm really, really happy with my life. I no longer want to use drugs and alcohol to escape reality. I'm really, really happy with my husband and our relationship. I'm really happy being a mom. I love being a mom. I'm really happy with my job. I love helping people. It's my passion. I believe that when we choose to take drugs and alcohol, because we choose it, okay? The only way you don't choose to take drugs and alcohol is if you are somebody who was held down and they pumped drugs into you, or you were somebody who was on opiates for pain prescribed and you didn't know, and you know that way. But most of us, we choose to use drugs when we first use drugs, right? Now, I've always believed that when you choose to use drugs, after you've been on them, right, and your addiction progresses, then you lose the power of choice, right? And drugs take control. Hear me out, okay? Drugs don't take control because they can't control you. They can't hold you down and make you swallow them. They can't hold you down and make you shoot them up. What takes control is your mind. When you take drugs and alcohol, your impulse control is limited, right? And then you begin to act out on those thoughts. So you're in active addiction. You're getting high every day. So your thought is always about getting high. So when you think, I want to get high, you act on it right away. And so therefore, your impulses are controlling your actions. When you get sober and you heal and you learn how to control your thoughts, those triggers that come into your mind that tell you, go get some meth, and you don't act on those thoughts, you don't take action, you're healing your brain and you're healing your neural pathways. Okay? The longer that you practice and you learn how to control your actions and your thoughts, and you don't act on impulse anymore, and you sit back and you think about the consequences of your actions, and you know that every action has a reaction, okay? Then you can start to heal. Now, of course, mental illness plays into it. People who have schizophrenia, blah, 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 blah. Some people will have a more harder time, right? But I'm talking overall for a person like me. I've gotten to a point in my life where I am so happy and I'm so fulfilled that I no longer want to get outside of myself and get fucked up. I no longer want to change the way I feel. Now, you have to get to this point, okay? You cannot, you have to get to a point where you no longer want to be fucked up. Hey, RJ, you no longer want to change the way you feel. You are happy and joyous and free, right? Once you get to a point in your life like that, and you're able to control your thoughts and your actions, and you're no longer just acting on impulse, then you can heal from the disease of addiction. You can heal. And you don't have to live your life in AA meetings for the rest of your life. You don't have to live your life doing all these different recovery things if you don't want to. You can heal from addiction. As long as you continue to heal on the inside and move forward, you can heal and move past addiction. I truly 100% believe that. Okay? And that's why I'm saying that I'm starting to believe that addiction is not a disease. Addiction is a slew of choices that we make that become a bad habit, okay? A habit that we practice for many years. I practiced my habit for 15. How long did y'all practice y'all's? So sure, getting sober is going to be hard when you've practiced getting high for 15 years, okay? But each and every one of you made a choice to turn your life around and get sober. You made a choice to change. Okay? So, if addiction is a disease, how come you're able to choose to recover? If addiction is a disease, how come you can take your opioid medication as prescribed and not abuse it? Because with addiction being a disease, it says that every time we take a substance into our body, that it sets off a phenomenon of craving and we go on a spree and lose control. I believe that addiction is a choice and a habit that we have fucking practiced for so long that our bodies and our minds become one with that habit. And when you can truly heal and, like I said, control those impulses, learn to not act on your thinking like we did when we were in active addiction. Oh, every thought that popped into our mind in active addiction, we acted on it. We didn't question it. Hey, Leah, we didn't even take 2 seconds to even think about it. We just did it. When you get sober, you learn how to pause and not react to everything. You also learn that life has consequences, and you don't want to have to go through life experiencing those negative consequences for the rest of your life. So what do? You change. You change and you stop doing the behavior. So if addiction is a disease, how are we able to change and stop doing our behaviors? I think I'm making some of y'all think because y'all ain't saying shit. What do y'all got to say about that? If you got something to say, come on up. Send me an invite and I'll let you come on the live. Okay? Now, I'm not some conspiracy theorist, okay? I'm not over here off my rocker. I'm not off my rocker, okay? Now, y'all got to understand something. I have been in Alcoholics Anonymous for 4 years, and then, MARA and other 12-step programs for the last 3 years. So I have been taught for 7 years, and even before that, that addiction is a disease, right? And that I will be an addict for the rest of my life. Once an addict, always an addict. I don't believe that. Nope, I don't believe it. You can choose your destiny. You can choose what you want to do. If you want to walk around and believe that you'll always be an addict, then you will always be an addict. And you will never be able to move past that point in your life. But if you believe that you can overcome and put addiction behind you, then you can. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I am finally starting to see that. I mean, imagine being told for the last 15 years that you're always going to be an addict and you're always going to have this disease. Damn, that's fucking depressing. Shit, even when I get better, I'm still going to have it? No, ma'am, I ain't claiming that shit. Nope, I'm not. I'm not claiming that. And I want you guys to hear me when I'm saying this. I want you to listen very, very clear. This is something that comes with years of sobriety, learning about yourself, introspection, okay? Learning how to heal on the inside. Therapy for 7 years. I've been in therapy for 7 years, okay? Like being disconnected from substances for a really long time, okay? Being disconnected from people that are getting fucked up for a really long time. Like, I have been away from all that for a long, long time, and I've given my brain and my body time to heal and for myself to get to a point in my life where I don't want to use. Because there was a point in my recovery where I still wanted to get high. How many people do you know who will tell you that they're sober but they still wanted to get high? Not many people will admit that because they're ashamed. But there's no reason to be ashamed because you literally practiced that behavior for 20 years of your life. So of course it's going to still be a thought, you know? Just because you think about getting loaded doesn't mean you have to get loaded. Because like I said, we control our actions today. We no longer allow our impulses to control our lives anymore. And you can heal that. So if you can heal that and change, then how can we say that it's a disease? Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I was always heard. Once an addict, always an addict. Yeah. Maddie. Hey, Maddie. Hey, Ryan. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? Like, I want y'all to hear me. Like, I really, really, really 100% I believed that addiction was a disease all my life. But I'm starting to question that because I'm having a fucking awakening. Okay? I'm having a spiritual awakening. I am actually being set free from the chains of addiction for the rest of my life, and I don't ever have to claim any of that bullshit ever again. And I don't have to feel like I'm not normal or that I'm less than or that I can't go around my people who are having a drink on the weekend or on 4th of July. Do you see what I'm saying? I believe that is a fucking daunting thing to have to believe. To have to believe that you'll always be diseased, that you're always going to have an issue, right? Because you don't. You have to believe that you can change, though. And that you can move past that. That was the problem with me. I didn't believe that I could for so many years. I didn't believe I could get sober. And that's why I wasn't getting sober, because I was hopeless and I didn't believe in myself. Okay? And what happened is it took my son getting taken away from me to snap me out of it and give me a motivation to work towards. You see, I had nothing to work towards in my life. I didn't have anything that I looked forward to. I didn't have anything that I cared about until my son came along. And being a drug addict for 15 years, I tried to get sober when he was born, and I made it 90 days, but then I relapsed, right? And so I just feel like I have literally listened to people say this for so long, and now I'm thinking totally differently. And I feel like a fraud. I feel bad because I feel like I have believed something that I don't really believe it anymore. I believe that telling you that you're having a disease and that you're always going to be an addict, I feel like that is very negative. Why would somebody want to get sober if they're always going to be an addict? Why would somebody want to get sober if they're always going to have the disease? You know, I just think that I've been lied to for so long. I feel like I have been lied to because it's conducive for the recovery community and the treatment industry to tell you that you have a disease that's incurable, because then you'll be going in and out of rehab and paying their motherfucking bills. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to find a therapist or something I can do online because I have no car. Oh, Maddie, I got you. I'll follow you and I'll send you the one I know. Yeah, I'm okay, Nikki. It's because that idea keeps you tied to NA or AA for life. Exactly, pineapple, exactly. That's what I believe. I believe that that's what they want us to be. They want us to be tied to AA and NA for the rest of our lives, because then we can't see anything past that. We can't get out and do more than that. And therefore, if you're tied to that all your life and you struggle or something happens, you're going to be a customer for life. You're always going to be a customer of the treatment industry, and you'll never be able to break free from that. And so that's why I believe that no, motherfuckers, once an addict, always an addict is not true. I do not believe it. And I'm seriously starting to question whether or not addiction is a disease or not. Seriously. And y'all know how hardcore I am about staying sober and helping people. So you know how much I believed that for a really long time. Okay? Do you believe our brains will always be wired differently as far as being an addict? No, I believe that you can heal it. I believe that if you want to, eventually, you can go out and have a beer. You could, if you're at a concert and somebody says, hey girl, you want to do a little toot toot? You could do that. I believe that people can get to a point in their lives where they can use in moderation. But the thing about it is, they don't want to, because they're fulfilled in their lives. So they're not seeking out something to change the way they feel. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to get to a point in your life where you are fulfilled, truly fulfilled, okay? Because if you're not, you're always going to be looking for the next best thing and seeking something outside of yourself. What do y'all think? What is everybody thinking of what I'm saying? Yeah, so Nikki, this is what I was thinking. Listen, I have literally believed that addiction was a disease for 7 years. So I literally just had this epiphany earlier today, and I was talking to everybody about it. So I'm processing through what I'm thinking with you guys. Okay. So please understand that I'm not like a guru or anything. So this is what I believe. I believe that addiction, we choose to start using drugs. And addiction is a bad habit, like smoking cigarettes is a bad habit, right? Is a habit that gets worse over time because we continue using, right? And we use because drugs affect our impulse control, okay? And when our impulse control is affected, we cannot properly make decisions like, I shouldn't go out and get high, or our thought will come into our mind and say, let's go party, I'm getting a fucking fifth of vodka, instead of pausing and saying, hey, I have school tomorrow. I probably shouldn't go party and get a fifth of vodka. We don't do that because our impulses are limited because of substances that we have been using. Because substances do affect the way the brain works, right? I can get down with that. So what I believe is that after time, when you get sober and you take those substances out of your body, okay, they're no longer affecting your body or your brain, and you begin to heal through therapy, 12 steps, whatever you do, and you begin to change the way you believe and think, and you begin to control your thoughts and actions. You are healing, so you no longer act on impulse, and you do things and you think about them before you do them. Okay? Because you don't have this drug affecting your brain that is limiting your impulse control. Okay? Okay? And so when you start healing, you also start to love yourself. You start to not want to get high anymore. You start to feel free. You start to be fulfilled. People who use drugs and alcohol are unfulfilled. They are hurting. They are depressed. They are broken. They are seeking something outside of themselves to make themselves feel better or different. And when you are fulfilled and truly happy, you're not seeking for anything outside of yourself to change the way you feel, because you're happy with who you are. Therefore, you don't go out and get fucked up. You don't go out and get drugs and alcohol. So, I believe that each and every one of you guys can get to a point in your life where you move past the once an addict, always an addict. Addiction is a disease. I believe that every single one of you guys can heal and can learn how to control your impulses and your thoughts and focus on positive things. I believe whatever you believe that you can do, that will be. If you believe that you will always be a drug addict, then you will always be a drug addict. If you believe that you will never be able to drink alcohol again, then you will never be able to drink alcohol again. If you think that you will be a dope fiend forever, then that's what will happen, okay? So I believe that you can heal your brain. I believe that we pick up drugs and alcohol, it becomes a really fucking negative habit because we're, using it all the time and abusing it. Because it goes into our body and changes our brain chemistry or the way our brain operates, that makes us even more likely to use the substance over and over again because we're not ourselves. Our impulses are like I said, affected. So do you see what I'm saying? I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. So yeah, Nikki, and I was one of those people. I was a junkie, okay? I was shooting dope for years. I was a poly substance user. I was addicted to multiple substances at the same time, okay? Every time you gave me a drug test, I had meth, opiates, and benzos in my system at all times, okay? And so, so for somebody like me, if I'm an addict and I'm always going to be an addict and I have this disease, then how come I'm able to take my medication as prescribed and it doesn't trigger me to go out and shoot meth? How come do you understand what I'm saying? I'm like really trying to voice what I'm saying and hoping it's making sense, Yeah. So I feel like I'm talking and y'all are just like thinking I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, okay? I just feel like, do you know that feeling when you feel like you've been lied to for all your life? Like, I feel like that's what happens to a lot of us is that
it's just another perspective that you feel like could be a possible thing that you would like to look at.
I feel like a lot of the times when we are told that we're, always going to be an addict and that we have this disease, I feel like that can be really discouraging. I feel like it can be a really negative thing to have to believe all the time, And so I feel like having hope and believing that you can move past addiction and that you can heal from addiction, I really think that's a lot more conducive. I also believe that keeping us tied to AA and NA keeps us a forever customer in the rehab treatment industry. And therefore, they're always making money because we're always coming back through there. You know what I mean? If you heal from addiction, then you're not going to go to a fucking treatment center if you have a glass of wine at dinner. You know what I'm saying? But they want you to believe that, no, don't do that. That if you, here, Nate, if you have a glass of wine at dinner, that you're going to go do cocaine afterward. If you want to go do cocaine after you have your glass of wine at dinner, then that's what you're going to do. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it and you won't do it. And so it really comes down to, what do you want to do in your life? What do you want to do? Do you want to continue to be tied to that, and believe that? That's fine, right? I'm just having a different perspective, and I've never, ever had a different perspective before. Okay, that's what you got to understand. I have believed this for 7 years, longer than that. Hey, Kate. Hey, Katie. Tell me why I had to tell my sub doctor that what merit is. Make it make sense. Oh yeah, none of them know. They don't do the research to find out about any other programs, and so that's why I scream it from the rooftops. Yeah. And so, and listen, Katie, I'm not trying to down AA, but AA is directly connected to the rehab treatment industry. Like they have a deal, okay, where they recommend AA and AA recommends rehab, and then they all get paid, okay? And AA makes like millions of dollars every year, like millions. And so it's a for-profit program, agency. And so, and I've been looking all this stuff up and reading about all this stuff because it all makes sense to me. Okay? If you listen to me, think about it. If we taught people that they could move past addiction and heal, then people would be healing. People would have a lot more confidence in that. And then they wouldn't be repeat offenders. They wouldn't be coming back through all the time. And so it's really conducive for their program to tell us that we'll always be an addict. Do you know what I'm saying? And so as long as they're telling everybody that they're always going to be addicted, then that's what people are going to believe, you know? And so it's conducive for them to do that because it benefits them, you know? Yeah, and so Gracie, that's complete. I totally understand that. I believe, Gracie, this is what I believe. I believe that one day, if you wanted to, you could have a glass of wine and walk away from it. That's what I believe. I believe that if you believe that you can heal, that you're not going to want to, is what I'm saying, because you're truly fulfilled in your life and you're no longer seeking outside validation or outside influences to make you feel better. But I do believe that you can heal and you can one day have a drink of wine if you wanted to.
Can you log in?
Yeah. And I want y'all to understand that I believed that same thing too, Gracie. I believed that I would never be able to do anything like normal people, right? But because I believe that so strongly, which, like I said before, what you believe will be, okay? And so if you believe that you can become a motherfucking astronaut, then you can become a motherfucking astronaut. Do you know what I'm saying? And so the power of the mind is, it's crazy how powerful our minds are. And so it's crazy, y'all. I have no idea how much my mind is going 90 miles an hour right now thinking about it. You know? Yeah, and I feel you. I'm 40 years old. I've been in treatment 7 times. I've been in sober living more times than I can count. I did a year in prison. I did a prison stint, for God's sakes, okay? Like, I'm tired. I don't want to get fucked up and ruin my life anymore. That's also a lot of what comes with it is getting to a point in your life where you no longer want to do that. You can heal your brain, though. You can heal your brain. Every single day that you make the choice not to drink, you're healing the neurotransmitters in your brain. Every decision that you make that's positive towards your sobriety, you're healing. And so you're repairing your brain without even knowing it. And so you guys have to dig a little bit deeper into what I'm saying and stuff and do your own research. I still believe addiction sucks ass, you know what I mean? But I really am like believing more into a positive place of being able to certainly overcome addiction. Absolutely, 100%, completely. You know what I mean? Okay, so she says it's no longer my choice. That's what I don't believe. Now that you have gotten drugs and alcohol out of your body and that you are healing and that you are learning and that you control your impulses, I believe it is your choice. I believe if you took a glass of wine and drank it, you would absolutely be in control of making the next choice. Alcohol's not going to sprout legs and arms and jump in your mouth and pour itself down your throat. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you believe that you don't have the power of choice, then you won't have the power of choice. And it will take control. Do you see what I'm saying? And I want you to understand, again, I'm not picking on you. I 100% believed the same thing you believe right now for so many years that it's actually frightening me a little bit about how differently I feel about it right now. Okay? Like, I can't say it enough how much the mind is so powerful, and what you speak and what you believe will be. And so walking around and saying that you have no control and you have no power and that you're powerless, then that's what you'll be, powerless. You know? So that's what I'm saying. And I'm talking about any substance, okay? Any substance. My drug of choice, like my real drug of choice, if I had to choose one, was methamphetamine, okay? I believe if there was a line of methamphetamine here, that I could do one line of methamphetamine and never do it again. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Do you know, you want to know why? Because I have the power of choice today. I can make good decisions. I can control my impulses because I have healed and I no longer want to change the way I feel. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Are y'all getting what I'm laying down now? I feel like I'm getting to y'all and helping y'all understand what I'm saying a little bit more. Now, do I think it's a healthy thing at the beginning to believe that you are, to believe that you can't touch drugs or alcohol? To protect yourself? Yeah, sure. Because I don't want you to go out when you're 6 months sober and say, well, Nicole Pludre said I could drink a bottle of wine today and I'm going to go do it. Do you know what I'm saying? I believe that you have to protect yourself and you have to take it slow and you have to let your mind and your body heal over time. Okay. And I also believe with time comes that respect, right? And that respect for substances and that respect for your own body, your own well-being, your family's well-being, okay? And so you no longer want to inhibit yourself so that way you're a problem for your family or you can harm your kids or any of that, you know? I think it's pretty fucking crazy that I've believed all these years that I could never be normal. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I would never be normal. And all it took was, I saw a video on TikTok from these people that make videos here called the Freedom Model. And I've been watching them and it's been piquing my interest for a while now. Okay. Because the lady on there keeps talking about, one day you can use in moderation one day. Okay. If you wanted to. And that, I wouldn't go around telling everybody that because I don't want anybody to go out and do it and hurt themselves. But that's what she talks about. She talks about how if you want to, you can heal from the disease of addiction and you can use in moderation if you want. And she had 20 years sober from alcohol and she decided to drink and she didn't go off the deep end. But there's many contributing factors to that. She's healed. She no longer wants to get drunk and fucked up to escape reality. She has children, okay, who are successful and older now, and none of them have addictions, and both her and her husband are addicts, okay? And so when she started talking about that, it made me start thinking, you know what I mean? I believe that, every person can get to a point in their life where they can do it. Every person, even the worst of worst alcoholics can do it. I just believe that it takes time. It takes practice. It takes healing. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that if you're somebody who believing that that addiction is a disease and that you're never going to be normal or blah, blah, blah. If that doesn't sit well with you, right, and you don't really necessarily like that, then this might be a new perspective, Mel says, you never heal. Recovery is a disease for me. I never drank. I was a drug user. I was everything user. I was alcoholic for the better half of 5 years, because I 17 to like 22 or 23, girl, I was so bad. I was blackout drunk all the time. But I believe that everybody can heal from, it doesn't have to be, but like I said, it's if you believe that and you tell yourself that every day, then yeah, that's it's gonna be a disease, and you're never gonna be able to get away from it, because that's exactly what I believed for 7 years, that I was never gonna be able to move past addiction. Do you see what I'm saying? And so now I'm seeing things from a different perspective, that I will be able to move past that. And that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, is that I believe that you guys can do that too. And I absolutely believe that every single person can overcome addiction and be healed, if they believe that they can, you know. But does that mean I'm saying go out and use drugs? No, I'm saying that because you're healed, you're not going to want to use, because you're truly healed, right? You're not going to want to use. You're not going to want to tell yourself you're an addict. You're not going to want to, escape reality. You're not going to want to get outside of yourself anymore, because you are fulfilled and you're healing and you're happy within you, you know? And so I think that I think that everybody could get to a point in their life where they are truly healed and fulfilled, and they no longer want to escape reality. And so because of that, no longer wanting to escape, being able to control their impulses, they have overcome addiction. And I've had problems with everything. So, I mean, am I going to go out and get a line of meth and see if I can use it recreationally or one time? No, I'm not an idiot, because here's the thing. I don't want to put myself in a bad situation. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to it cause myself to not be my sober self, because I have more respect for my body and my mind today. When I was younger and I was on drugs, I had no respect for myself or my mind or my body. So I would put just whatever drugs in it I could, But over time, I've grown and I've learned and I've healed, and I have a respect for myself, and I don't want to put myself in that situation anymore. You know what I mean? Now, what do I believe about us? I believe that some of us, I believe that, is addiction. Let's look at the definition of disease. Let me grab my husband's phone. And we're going to have we're going to literally deep dive on this together. Okay, guys? And like I said, please don't freak out or anything. I'm just thinking out loud, and we're thinking and processing this together. Okay. Because just like a lot of people have fought with me in the comments about, people say a disease. Let's see what it means, because I don't really know what what the definition is. Okay, so a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant. Okay, disorder, I can get down with that. Okay, that produces specific signs or symptoms or affects a specific location, is not simply a direct result of physical injury. A particular quality, habit, or disposition regarded as adversely affecting a person or group of people. A disease is a particular abnormal condition that negatively affects the structure or function of all or part of an organism, and that is not immediately due to any external injury. Diseases are often known to be medical conditions that are associated with specific signs and symptoms. Okay, anyway. Any harmful deviation from the normal structure or functional state of an organism. All right, I like the word disorder better. How about y'all? Now, do I think that through using substances, sorry, I'm trying to choose my words. I look at addiction as more of a mental health disorder, okay? When I think of disease, I think of cancer, diabetes, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. Isn't that a disease or condition or something? And so, but I also believe that when we pick up drugs and alcohol, because we put those drugs in our system, okay, so we're all born with no drugs in our system, right? We're just a regular little person who's never used drugs before. And so we put drugs into our system, okay? And so all of us are different, so all of our bodies and brains respond differently to that substance, right? But there's always going to be a majority who respond the same. Like alcohol makes them get woo, and maybe the other people, alcohol makes them hyper. You know, there's always those people that are like outside of the norm. Opiates make you feel fucked up. The outside of the norm, people feel energy from opiates. You know, you see what I'm saying? And so we all take substances into our body. And so that's why I wonder, like, when you have 10 people, every person was given the same drug. Why is it that only 2 people become drug addicts and the other ones don't? Okay. I think it's a combination of the way our brain responds to those drugs with our impulse controls, right? And then maybe like our situation, our where we live, our circumstances, our habitat. Okay. Because let's say that I got on drugs, but I lived with a family who had education about addiction. And they had already talked to me about drugs and alcohol and what drugs and alcohol could do. And so I tried drugs for the first time, but I knew, and I never went back to it again. And I chose not to use drugs anymore. You know? So then you have kids who are, you know, living in the hood and their moms and dads work every night and they don't have the same love and care that they would normally have because their parents are absent in their life. So those kids are more susceptible to becoming addicted to drugs because they don't have the proper skills or coping mechanisms to say, hey, I shouldn't do this. Isn't it a good idea? Right? Taking me, for instance, and my 2 sisters. There's 3 of us, okay? 2 of us became addicted to drugs and 1 of us didn't. You take all 3 of us. We all struggle with mental health. We all have depression and anxiety. And my sister Michelle has bipolar disorder. Okay? All of us did drugs. My sister Christine grew up seeing me and my sister Michelle fuck up on drugs. So when she tried drugs, she said, fuck this shit, I'm not doing it anymore. Okay? Me and Michelle, we both had the perfect combination of things going on in life that contributed to us using substances. I was very insecure. I had low self-esteem, and I believed that I was fat and ugly. And I believed that through taking these stimulants that I would be skinny, which I did. And so I had a direct, I seen the literal effects of me using stimulants. Stimulants gave me a reaction that I wanted because I got skinny. So, of course, I'm going to continue taking them because they are producing the product that I want, which is to be skinny, okay? My sister was very mentally ill, okay? She had basically no control over her mind, okay? Her bipolar, we didn't know she was bipolar. So she was jumping out of windows, chasing us around with butcher knives. My sister was in and out of juvenile detention centers. My parents had to FINS petition her where they were no longer responsible for her, and the state of Arkansas was. It was wild, okay? Well, my sister took drugs and alcohol into her body. That was a way to rebel, and that was a way to calm her mind and make her not feel what she was feeling with her bipolar disorder. And when she felt better taking drugs, when fighting bipolar disorder, she got the results that she wanted from drugs. The result being to feel better from her bipolar disorder. So all of us continued using because we got the reaction we wanted from the substance. Okay? It was 2 plus 2 equals 4. You know, we all got what we wanted. So that's why we continued to use. It wasn't because alcohol had its arms wrapped around my neck and was pouring a bottle down my throat. It's not because methamphetamine was chasing me down the street and beating me until I used it, right? It was because I knew that by taking that substance, I would get the reaction I wanted, losing weight. It's a choice you continue to make, and you also have the ability to choose to stop. Perks make you feel good. We all know that, but you choose to continue to. Yeah, Carrie, you missed it, girl. I've been talking all about addiction and not being a disease. So get on in where you fit in and listen up. So I've been a person that has believed that addiction was a disease for years, 15 years, 20 years. As long as I can remember, I believe that. Okay? Substances affect everybody's brain is affected by substances, right? When we take drugs and alcohol into our body, what does our brain do? It says, woo, and releases all that dopamine, okay? So you're getting all this dopamine, which is a positive reaction to the substance. So knowing that when you take that substance that it feels good, then you continue to take it because you got the reaction from the substance that you wanted, you know? So, yeah, blunts, that's what I've been talking about this whole time, is that I have been kind of like looking at a different perspective, and I'm starting to lean more towards that I don't believe that it's a disease, okay? I believe, and I'll repeat what I was saying, I believe that, you know, we start using drugs as a choice, but over time it becomes a bad habit. Why? Like I said before, because when we take substances into our body, it gives us the result that we're looking for, okay? Every person takes drugs and alcohol into their body for a reason. Whether it was to escape life, whether it was to change the way we feel because we were depressed, because we were angry, because we were hurting, whether it was because we were 14 years old and we were overweight and we wanted to be skinny, and our doctor gave us Adipex, and we seen that when we take amphetamines, we lose weight, and we get the result that we wanted. So we continue to take that substance into our body. Okay? Do I think it affects your brain? And yes, it obviously does, because it affects our ability to control our decisions and our impulses. All right? Yeah. So that's where I was asking you guys this. For those of us that are on medication-assisted treatment, Suboxone, Methadone, how are people who are on MAT, if we're addicts and we have this disease when we take these substances into our body, how are those of us that are on opioid medication, how are we able to take our medication as prescribed without abusing it if we have a disease that makes us lose the power of control and choice and experience the phenomenon of craving and then go on a spree? So how are we able to take our medication as prescribed if we have this allergic reaction that they say, right? An allergy to substances, alcohol and drugs, to substances, opiates, you know? Okay. In between, if I decided I could have one, I drank till I passed out. Yeah, so I do believe that. I really do believe that. And I'm not trying to get you to go drink, Gracie, but I think that you could probably get to a point where you heal so much and that you don't want to even do that. You know what I mean? And that's what it all comes down to. I believe that we all have healed and we no longer want to change the way we feel. We've healed enough to know that we're happy in our skin and that we love the person that we are today and that we love helping others and we love being right-minded, you know? And so now we don't want to escape, you know what I mean? Yeah. And listen, I don't think it's a bad thing to question things. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people get upset when we try to have like healthy little discussions like this because they attach so much of themselves to their program. You know, and I've seen this so much with people that are in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. They attach so much of themselves to those programs that when anybody tries to have a conversation like this that we're having right now and pick your brain and make you think outside of what that program has taught you, they get offended and they get mad and they get worked up. You know what I mean? And it's because they have literally put their whole life into that program and they believe without it that they'll fail. But I believe that's not true either. I believe that you can push on with your life because I believe that too. I believe that if I got out of Alcoholics Anonymous, that I would relapse and that I would fail. And I'm here to tell you that hasn't happened. You can ask my husband. I used to go to 3 meetings a week. I was very, very, very into the meetings, you know? And I started to question things. I started to feel like, I know I can stay sober without coming to these meetings. You know what I mean? I know that I can do a meeting at the house and do like we're doing today, you know? And so I started making my own little meetings. And that has been amazing. I have had so much help from you guys and my social media following. Where we do meetings, we have a little meeting every single day. Every time we're on here, we're talking about recovery, you know? I'm at the point in my recovery where I can drink only on the weekends at most and not chase drugs. That's awesome, Blunts. I'm proud of you. Yes, we're different people. I can take drugs on occasion, but not liquor ever. And I that's how I felt about stimulants. I felt like because that's my drug of choice that I would never be able to, you know, take a medication that has a stimulant in it as prescribed, you know? And I don't believe that anymore. I'm sick of the abuse. I was told to hard off the floor. What happened, Melissa? What happened? Who's been abusing you, honey? Tell us about it. We'll listen. We're not going to abuse you here. And like I said, I'm never ever trying to like down your guys' preference in programs. I had a great experience in AA. My AA here in Little Rock is amazing. I still am friends with people that go to AA. You know, I believe that I put so much into it though, and a lot of people led me to believe that that was the reason why my life was changing. And sure, like I told you guys, the steps help you a lot. They help you to look at yourself look inside of yourself, okay? But you're doing the work. You're the one who's taking action and putting one foot in front of the other. Yeah, same, Sam. Even at one point, the ending, alcohol was my DOC, but now I'm at the point where I know better. Yeah, I also feel like it comes with age, knowledge, you know? I want to show y'all what I'm talking about, this book. I'm going to order it because we're going to read it. So, Gracie, somebody like you, you can't get, listen, you can't get sober without, you can't get sober on your own. You can't do it on your own. Don't you know that, Gracie? You can't get sober on your own. Oh, Melissa, I'm so sorry. Well, do you need to get away from him? This book is called The Freedom Model. It says, gain freedom from addiction for good. Okay. 33 years of Freedom Model books. You want me to show you a video? Here, I'm going to show you a video. Now, we can talk about it, okay? What's the digital version? Is that typed out or is that online? Oh, this is an ebook. The Freedom Model for Addiction Escape, the Treatment and Recovery Trap. Digital edition is now available to download from all major online stores. If you choose to get the Freedom Model for Addictions on your phone, iPad, or blah, blah, blah. Is that the one you were talking about? I want to get the one that's on, I want to get a paperback one though. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they have the Freedom Model for the family, the Freedom Model for addictions. Let's look at the reviews, okay? And y'all, we'll discuss it together. Okay. Okay. If you are looking for a place to change the way you think, the actions you take, in your relationship with drugs or alcohol, then this is a place for you. The opposite of a traditional rehab experience. Okay, this is like talking about the Freedom Model Treatment Center. Anyway, let me go to Amazon. Paperback. Okay, here we go. Like, I'm buying it right now. I'm like so excited to read it, you guys. And I'm going to read it all to you guys. Okay? Okay. Y'all think I'm crazy? Gracie, do you think I'm crazy, girl? I've been riding you hard in this live. Can you at least admit that my brain might work differently from yours when it comes to alcohol? Yeah, I mean, I think all of our brains are different, right? Everybody's brain is different. I don't think that any of us respond the same way to substances. Okay? And I'm sure, I do believe that when you take alcohol into your body, that it can make you feel like you want to take more. But what I'm saying is that I believe you can get to a place where you overcome that, and because the alcohol is affecting your impulse control. I believe that you can get to a place of total healing where you no longer let those impulses take control, and you say, this is it. I'm not listening. No alcohol. I'm not going to have another drink. I said 1 glass of wine at dinner, and that's all I'm taking. Goodbye. That's what I'm saying, okay? I believe that we can all, I think everybody can heal, okay? That's what I'm saying. Everybody, not just you, Gracie. You've just been the most talkative, so I've been going with you. You know, I like to have discussions. So it's not anything negative. I hope you understand that, okay? And I totally respect you for disagreeing, because I would have said the same thing a couple of years ago. I really, really would have. And I know that a lot of you guys think I might just be a Looney Tune right now. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just think that I have believed something that's not true. Certain routes of administration are very hard with impulse control. Exactly, Nicholas. I was an IV user. I shot up. Okay, so I shot up meth. I shot up cocaine. I shot up heroin. I shot up fentanyl patches. Okay, so I was like if you had a severity level, there's okay, moderate, and severe. I'm like 7 points above severe, right? So I believe if I decided to, I would never, ever, ever decide to go shoot up ever again. Like, I would not treat my body like that. Like I said, I have more respect for my body now. I have more respect for myself now. I don't believe that I have to do those things to myself. Back when I was younger and I was in my addiction, I believed that I was worthless. I believed that I didn't deserve any better. That's also the reason why I stayed in a relationship with a man who beat me, because I believed that I deserved it and that I didn't deserve any better. And so I was a very broken, sick person for many, many years. And so that's why I want you guys to hear me out. Like, I understand, okay? like I said, I've been sober for 7 years, and it's taken me 7 years to get to where I'm at today. And so it's not like I'm saying overnight that you're going to be healed and all these things are going to change, right? Like I'm saying, with time and persistence, practice, that you can heal and change. So anyways, I'm not going to bother y'all's minds with that anymore. I just thought it would be a good discussion to have, I did make a video about it, and I'm sure people are going off in the comments on that video. And so this is a good way to get people thinking, right? This is a good way. Me too, girl. I used to shoot meth and call the cops, and my husband burned his ankle with a meth pipe once because I called the cops, and the cop came, and my husband was in the living room smoking meth. No, it's okay, Gracie. You're fine, girl. I'm telling you, Gracie, I'm telling you, girl, like I used to believe that too about myself. But what I'm learning about myself is I'm learning that my mind is really powerful. And what I believe that all of us have the power to change and heal, just because our minds are so freaking, my mind is so powerful that when I would get drugs, if I knew I didn't have enough for the next day, I would start experiencing withdrawal. And I had drugs in my system. My own mind would send me into opiate withdrawal. That's how powerful my mind is. Okay? The mind is so powerful that I have seen people, and I have been one of those people, who went into jail and was cold turkeyed off of benzos, opiates, methamphetamine. And because my mind knew that I was locked down and I could not leave that jail, guess what happened? My withdrawal wasn't that bad. I was all good. I made it through it. It was like nothing. Hep C, are you talking about Hep C, Melissa? So that's crazy to think how powerful our minds are, that our minds have the power to, make us sick. That's powerful. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. Exactly. Just like when you know that withdrawal is coming on and you're expecting it. That's why I tell people that are on methadone to ask their doctors to do blind tapers. So that way they don't know what milligrams are going down. And that way that helps with the psychological part of things, But, you guys, I always respect what you guys believe, okay? And I'm never going to shame you, okay? Because you believe a different way than I believe. All right? I just like talking about stuff. And when I have a different view, I like to share it. And I like to have other people share what they believe, But I know the reason it's hard for me right now is because I believed it for 7 years, and I understand. Like, I don't want you guys to feel like I don't understand. I really, really do. I cried. Okay, I cried. I went on vacation, and we had dinner, and I ordered a frozen margarita at dinner. Okay, and I drank it. I went back to the hotel, and I started thinking about it, and I was like emotional because I thought that I could not do that. I thought that I couldn't be a grown-up and have a fucking margarita at dinner, and that's all. Is just one frozen margarita. And so that right there kind of made me start thinking, and then I came on here and I started seeing these videos from this lady talking about healing from addiction, and moving past that point in her life and being 20 years sober. And, like she said, I believe that, she's been sober. I've been sober. She drank and it's not something she wants to do anymore. Now, do I believe that you can revert back? Like, let's say that you've healed and you've come a long way and you're doing amazing in your life, and you're able to have a glass of wine at dinner with your friends on a holiday or whatever, but you don't do that because you don't want to escape reality. Let's say you go through a terrible divorce, okay, and you lose that connection and that healing within yourself, and you start reverting backwards, right? You start getting depressed, you start getting anxious, you start getting overwhelmed, all right? And then you decide that you want to escape, and you pick up, and you start picking up, and you continue to pick up, and you continue to pick up, and you get yourself back to where you started, which is dependent on alcohol or whatever drug it is, okay? But even then, like, you're choosing to do that. You know, you chose to pick up because your depression, and you picked up, and when you took the substance, it gave you relief from your depression. So you're going to continue to do it because you're getting that relief that you wanted to get. When it stops serving you, and now you are physically dependent to that substance, and your body becomes ill without it, that brings in a whole nother problem. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm taking my power back. Exactly. Like, and like I said, I'm not trying to insult anybody or down any of you and say, oh, you're not taking your power back. Look at me, I'm taking my power back. Nothing like that, okay? No, I don't want to use or drink in moderation. It's not something that I like enjoy. I guess if I enjoyed it, I would do it, you know, but it's not something that I get my rocks off on doing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's like, I don't believe that because you can use in moderation that you should, okay? I guess maybe y'all are confused about that. I'm not saying like, oh, we can use in moderation, now we can go use meth, now we can go use cocaine, now we can go use alcohol, you know? What I'm saying is that I believe you can get to a point in your life where you are healing. And if you wanted to use, you could without anything bad happening and without you wanting to go and ruin your life, right? But because you have healed and you're a new person and you've overcome that point in your life, you don't want to get fucked up. You don't want to use. So it's like, you're not going to use. You're still sober. Do you see what I'm saying now? That's okay, Gracie. Yeah, I believe I could. I believe if I had, you know, a bag of meth here and I wanted to snort a line out of it once every day, I could do that. But here's the thing. I don't want to do illegal drugs. I don't want to break the law. I don't want to be under the influence around my son. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't do it, you know? And I also think it's a don't play with fire kind of thing, right? I also think it is, okay, so I'm healed and I've overcome my addiction, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to tempt fate and experiment with, you know, meth pipes blowing clouds of smoke every day. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's what people are thinking when I say addiction is not a disease. I hope not. And if I do believe that if you continue to use, okay, then that use, because you continue using, becomes a habit, right? And you continue using and you build that habit, just like any habit, like smoking cigarettes. your body, your mind becomes dependent on that, right? So like a lot of people who struggle with cigarette smoking, it's this hand to mouth thing, right? Like you could stick, and that would make them feel better, right? So yeah, I just think it's a lot about learning about healing and controlling your mind and your thoughts. Because I really do believe, because the mind is so powerful, that our minds can control our actions, which they have for so long, and which they have in me, which they have in you. And that's why we continue to use, because we acted out on our impulses. So, but you know what? Let's say this. Addiction is a motherfucker. It can kill you, and it doesn't really matter if it's a disease or not. It ain't good. You know what I mean? So we can all agree on that. It is not a good thing, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to get addicted to anything. No, I totally understand what you're saying. Do I think that... So, let me think about it. So, even with like opiates, there's people who have, 15, 20 years sober, and then they break their back, and they were sober from heroin or other opiates, and then they get prescribed, an opiate for their pain, and they take that pain medication as prescribed, and they move on with their lives, and it's nothing but a thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, of course it depends on each person. Because each person is not going to be... That's what I've been saying this whole time, is that people don't do the work. People don't do the internal healing work on themselves, right? And so you can't compare somebody to me who's been in therapy for all these years and doing all this work for 7 years to somebody who's been 7 years off the drugs but hasn't done any work. They just literally stopped using drugs and started working a job or something like that, right? And so that person won't be as far along as I am in my healing journey, right? And so we're all at different stages in our healing journey. So to come on and say like, there's not like a time, at 1 year you can stop, you can do anything you want to do. Like I think that every person gets to a certain point in their life where that's where they believe, Yes, same, Blunts, same. Do you think you will always need therapy? I don't really feel like I need it. I feel like it helps, though, and I think everybody benefits from it. I mean, just having somebody to talk to, you know what I mean? Just having somebody to talk to is so amazing. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a therapist. It could be like a recovery coach or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell you guys that one of my biggest coping skills is coming on here and talking about how I feel. That's why I'm on here right now, ranting and raving about addiction. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I like coming on here and sharing how I feel, I'm telling you guys, like I was crying earlier, because I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, have I held myself back? Have I stunted myself because I believed that I was, not diseased and not normal? Have I held myself back from opportunities? Have I hindered myself? Have I hindered my growth? But I think I haven't. I think that I have a healthy fear, and that alcohol and drugs, I have a fear of them. And I know how powerful they are. And I know how, if I choose to use them, that if I choose to keep on using them. That the way they make me feel, I like it, you know? And I will never lie to you guys. Like, I liked the way drugs made me feel. I really, really enjoyed methamphetamine. I enjoyed having that energy and my heart racing and my hair growing 10 inches out of my head. Like, I loved it. I lived for that shit, you know? And so I know that if I continue to take that shit into my body because I liked the way it made me feel, you know? And see, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I wonder if, like, how it could be different. Like, I think that the disease words throws me off now, you know? Oh, yeah, Maddie. Oh, yeah. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about, because you guys probably feel the same way. When you hear the word disease, so let's think about diseases that come even that are formed because of choices, okay? Like, we get diseases from having unprotected sex. But they say a disease is something that prohibits or inhibits our function. And so it does, when we use substances, it does mess with our function. We're an organism, right? And it does change how we function. And so if that's the definition of disease, then I guess you could say that that a disease is the right word. But when I think about it, I think more about a disorder or mental health thing, you know? Oh, yeah, Pearl, absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely believe that we choose to use drugs, and I absolutely believe that we don't even think about the consequences. And now that we're in recovery, now we choose not to use drugs because we know the consequences, and we don't want to have to fucking go through that shit. And so the consequences are what helped a lot of us walk away from our addiction, because we no longer wanted to experience those bad things. I walked away from addiction because I didn't want to lose custody of my son. I didn't want to continue hurting him. You know, what about you guys? Why did you guys leave addiction? And you know what, Blunts? It really made me start thinking whenever I said, if addiction is a disease, how are we able to take our medication as prescribed? That really made me think about it, because I had never thought about that before. Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever truly asked yourself that? Hey, Tiffany, what's up, girl? And so, what do y'all have to say? Does anybody want to come up here and share? You're more than welcome to come up here and share. Trauma keeps you in recovery. That's awesome, girl. An OD almost killed you, and so that pushed you into getting sober. Yeah. The last time I did fentanyl, I OD'd, and my daughter walked in, and I thought I was dead. So so you didn't want to continue using because you didn't want to hurt your daughter. So do you see what I'm saying? So, like, every one of us had a moment of clarity where we saw the consequences of our actions and the harm that we were doing ourselves and others. Okay? And in that very moment, we made the choice to stop and get help. So how are we able to choose our way out of a disease? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm really trying to make sense of what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I guess maybe I'm just putting too much thought into it. You know, if because drugs affect our brain in such a negative way and they just fuck us up so bad, how are we able to choose to stop? you know? Why are we able to choose to stop? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, Gracie, with you, with alcohol. Like, you said that alcohol is just like, fucks you up. It's horrible for you. You can never drink again. If you're not even one drink. And, you see what I'm saying? Losing myself and betraying myself like that was so dark and empty. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But when we're in active addiction, we have let our morals and our values go down so much that we become okay with the person that we are, going against everything that we ever believed in, you know? And so that contributes to us continuing to use drugs, right? Yeah, so, and I'm not trying to offend anybody that takes methadone, but to me, methadone is a lot like opiates, a lot like any opiate. And do I believe Suboxone is like it? No, because it stops giving you any kind of feeling. And with methadone, I hear people tell me, by the morning time, I'm in withdrawal. So I know if they're in withdrawal and then they take their medication in the morning, that they're feeling something from that. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, Chrissy, I'm so glad she's been so honest and open on her channel about it, because she even has said it. She shows people that, look, my eyes are low. I can't keep them open, after she takes her morning dose. And I think what happens is a lot of people feel shame and they don't want to admit that. And they don't want to say that. But it's not anything to be ashamed of. It's because methadone is a full agonist. It's because it's not like Suboxone. Suboxone is only a half one. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, girl. I just came to believe today. I've been coming to believe for about a month or so. I've been I ordered that book, you guys, and let me read some of it to you. And I was so scared to post about it. So scared. Ace, what are you talking about? Cops couldn't find what? And so, Nicholas, with us, we don't feel that. It's like Suboxone is just like, ugh. It's like a vitamin. It's like, I wish I had it. I wish that it would make me feel the way it made me feel when I first started taking it. Because I could handle that. But it just fucking doesn't do that. It wears down, I guess. Ace, who are you talking about, honey? And what are you talking about? Oh, I want to read this to you guys. And y'all tell me what y'all think. Yeah, same here. With subs, the same here. I can go days without taking it. Yeah, Nicholas, absolutely. And I think that's another thing that people feel ashamed to talk about. But, I mean, it's a high-powered opioid. Buprenorphine is strong, probably because it's about substances. So if you're posting like about hallucinating and stuff, it won't show it to me because TikTok. So I want to read this to you guys. Are y'all ready? Okay. The Freedom Model is not a program, nor a process of recovery, nor a moderation advocate of any kind. It is not treatment, counseling, or therapy. Instead, it is a way of thinking about the choices you can and will make in your own life. It is an approach about a confused idea called addiction and recovery, and it seeks to clear the air on these constructs. The Freedom Model debunks all the addiction and recovery myths, so you can happily choose one of three options. Continue to use heavily, use moderately, or abstain, and freely choose your options based on facts and confidence, not fiction and fear. It allows you to make the pursuit of greater happiness your deciding factor. What's up, Marcel? Talk to me. Okay? People exist in all sorts of voluntary. Are men and women different in recovery? What do you mean? People exist in all sorts of voluntary maintained engagements with which they are nonetheless dissatisfied. Jobs, careers, relationships, living situations, and of course, habits such as using alcohol and drugs. But as dissatisfying and painful as these involvements can be, people do not move on from them until they believe they have a happier option available to them. A better job, a better career, a better relationship, or a better living situation. Until a credibly happier option is seen, they feel stuck. This applies to habits such as heavy substance use too. Reason I asked is because I asked a woman if she needed my number. Oh, say, Marcel, a lot of women in the recovery community, especially, stay and listen, Gary, because I'm talking, and you'll want to stay and listen, because you have missed the whole conversation. I've been talking about this, and I'm glad that you came in so I can talk to you about it too. A lot of the women in the TikTok recovery community will not accept numbers from a man. Okay. Most women only take numbers from each other because they just believe that it's safer that way because, some guys will try to 13th step you and get in your pants. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why, a lot of girls they don't take the guys' numbers. That's why. It's not anything because of you. It's just kind of like a rule it's a rule in 12 steps that they created that men stick with the men and women stick with the women. Okay. So, anyways, okay. So this is what I was talking about, Gary. I was talking about addiction not being a disease. Question mark, question mark, question mark. And what I did was I came on here and I shared, and this is what I'm starting to have a different perception about, and I'm starting to look more into this way. Okay, so listen to me and hear what I have to say. So, and I would have never ever questioned this because, like I said, I've been raised up to believe that addiction is a disease for like 15 years, as long as I can remember. But somebody made me start questioning it, and that's what made me start thinking. So, I believe, and I've said this so many times, my husband probably thinks I'm going crazy. I believe that, addiction is a habit that we have, right? That we make because we choose to pick up drugs and alcohol. Can we all agree that we choose to pick up drugs and alcohol? Unless you were like strapped down to a bed and somebody shot you up with drugs, that every one of us had a choice in it, right? I chose to pick up. I was like 17. And I picked up drugs and alcohol, right? So we can all agree that we have the choice to do that, all right? Now, once we have that choice, we take the drug into our body, right? And it produces an effect that we like. Because if we didn't like the effect, we would go to a different drug and find a different drug, right? That's why a lot of us have preferences in substances. Oh, I don't like downers, or I like uppers, or I just like alcohol. And so when we take that substance into our body, it produces a result that we like. Therefore, we continue to take that substance because it's giving us the reaction that we want. For me, methamphetamine helped me lose weight. It gave me energy. It gave me the result that I wanted, so I continued using it. Through continued use, those substances affect our brain, okay? And those substances affect our impulse control, the prefrontal cortex of our brain. Okay? Impulse control. Triggers. Thoughts is what impulses are. Okay? When you have a thought and you have no impulse control because you're using substances, when that first thought comes into your mind, what do? You act on it. I'm going to go shoot some dope. I'm mad at my mom. I'm shooting her with a gun. Pow, pow. Whatever it is, right? The impulse comes. We act on it. We do it, right? And so through continued use and abuse, we are, hurting and harming ourselves. We are hurting others, and we are constantly, going against things that we truly believed, our morals, our values, because substances affect our brain, prohibiting us from making proper good choices because of lack of impulse control. Okay? Then one day, a consequence happens. A consequence normally that's severe enough that makes us think, maybe I shouldn't be doing drugs anymore. For me, it was the day my son got taken away from me. That day, it brought me back to reality, away from all those impulses that I had been following for so long, and back to the Nicole that knows right from wrong, the Nicole that has a good family and loves her family. And I said, I got to change. And I made a choice that day to make a change and turn my life around. Okay? I walked away and I healed from addiction. Now, through healing and getting better, I learned how to deal with my thoughts. I learned how, don't come out here. I don't know who it is. I learned how to control my thoughts and not just act on my impulses and my actions. And that's something that all of us learn in recovery as we heal. What? Nate, it's, there you go. That's what we all learn in recovery, right? We all learn how to, to deal with triggers, right? Our thoughts. And so I'm healing, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm overcoming shit. I'm just literally changed my whole life, right? I'm going to therapy. I'm doing my 12 steps. I'm just doing all these things. I'm healing, right? So I believe through that healing that you can get to a point in your life where you've overcome addiction and you can put it behind you. I don't believe once an addict, always an addict. I believe that you can completely overcome addiction and that you don't have a disease. Okay? I believe that you can fight against that and that you're openly choosing to do that now. And so, yeah, that's what I've never known anybody to be able to choose their way out of an addiction or a disease. Now, in something like diabetes, okay? They're eating a lot, they've gained weight, they get diabetes. They choose to change their diet. They choose to start exercising.
What are you on?
What?
What type of platform are you
I'm on TikTok.
on? Oh man, I can't show them my BB gun there.
No. And so I choose to change my life, right? So anyways, that's what I was saying. That's what I was talking about. So what do y'all think? Anybody got anything to say about that?
You have school tomorrow?
Nope. Did you send him home? And so the reason why I'm all passionate about it and came on here is because I just recently really started thinking about it, and I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about it.
Excuse me?
Because I've never, ever, ever second guessed that. What, baby?
Can I make them hear my BB gun?
Hey, no, buddy. Give me the gun. Let me show it to
I
him.
don't want you to get...
It's a BB gun, y'all. It has an orange thing on the tip. Nate wants to show
No,
y'all.
it doesn't.
Okay? Or it has that little orange thing on the thing. But, that's what I was talking about, you guys. I hope that I didn't upset anybody, but I just thought it was something good to talk about. And also, the reason why I've been thinking that is because I think that, I was always so down on myself and believing that I had a disease and that I was always going to be an addict. At least now, it started to turn against me. Like, it started to make me feel less than. It started to make me feel powerless, right? And I'm not powerless over drugs. Drugs have no power over me, okay? I can choose not to use drugs today. I can choose to do better today, And so, but when I'm putting substances in my body and they're affecting my brain and my impulse, right? That's where we get that where we say powerlessness or loss of choice. Okay? We're not really losing our choice. Our brain and our impulses are being affected because we're still choosing to do other things. You know what I mean? To me, loss of choice would mean not being able to choose anything, doing it or not, And so that started making me think. And so then I was like, I got to come on here and ask you guys. You know? Okay, and I hope you got that's what I have been my brain has literally been going in overdrive thinking about this. Because like I said, you guys, I've been in Alcoholics Anonymous for fucking years, okay? I believe that I would have to go to meetings for the rest of my life. Okay? I believe that I would relapse if I drank a beer or something. You know, and I believe that wholeheartedly with all my heart. And I just feel like I don't believe that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? But do I want to go out and get drunk and high? No. And that's what I'm saying. I believe when you are healing and you truly become fulfilled in your life, happy, joyous, free, healed and fulfilled, right? Then you don't want to get fucked up. Then you don't want to escape reality. You have purpose. And when you have purpose, that's when you're truly healing. Because that's when you don't want to get outside of yourself. And you don't want to not be present. You finally enjoy and respect your body and yourself. You enjoy life on life's terms, even if bad shit happens. Because you're free, man. You're free. And when you were using substances, you were hurting. You were broken, you were depressed, you were anxious, you had mental illness that was unmedicated, blah, blah, blah. And you were using substances to escape, to not feel. And now you don't have to do that. So through all that and that healing, you've overcome that addiction. And you no longer have to be tied down to the word addict. Yeah, exactly. Do I think you should all go and do drugs today? No. I'll always steer clear of drugs, you know? But I don't think I'm broken forever. And I don't think that, I'll tell you all this. Drugs don't make me have the same reaction I used to have. Okay? Drugs used to make me want to have them. My stomach would get queasy. I would have diarrhea because of it. Now they scare me. I have a healthy fear of substances. Because I don't want to die. You know? I don't want to die. Okay, anyway. How do you think I feel, Gracie? My brain has been going 90 to nothing ever since I started thinking about it. And y'all know how passionate and serious I am about my recovery. Y'all know how I am. But this really has made me start thinking different. And I'm scared because I don't know. I feel weird. I feel like I have been led down a road that's not true. You know what I mean? But anyway, if y'all want to talk about anything else, let's do it. I'm off my fucking soapbox. And every person knows when they feel good, right? And so, you know, Gracie says, no, I cannot drink. And she knows right now she cannot drink. Okay? I cannot do this. We all know what's best for us, right? And so, follow your heart, stay sober, and do the next right thing, and help others, and you'll be fine. Me too, Maddie. I did drugs at first. I didn't realize I was doing them to escape. I did them at first because I felt like they made me better. Do you know what I'm saying? I felt like they made me better. I felt like they made me look better, skinnier, all that. So, But then I started using drugs to escape life because I became depressed and anxious, overwhelmed, and uncomfortable. And I think a lot of it was because of using substances. You know what I mean? So, what do y'all do for sober fun? Are you sleeping, Neil? Okay. Let me take my makeup off. Yeah, what do you guys do for sober fun? Now, I'll tell y'all this. Jimmy McGill, he lives here in Little Rock with me. And they have a whole recovery softball team, which next year I'm going to do that shit because I need to take my little boy with me and get him involved with the recovery community here. I'm just like, y'all might not believe this. I think that I'm an introvert in real life, like around other people, but on here on TikTok, I'm like super outgoing, and it's because I can shut you guys off and walk away anytime I want to. You know what I mean? Congratulations, Gary. I'm proud of you. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, but I really don't really like being around a lot of people. Do you know what I'm saying? I would cry shooting up because I didn't want to be that way no more. That's how it was when I was pregnant with my son. I'm telling you guys, like, Jimmy has like such a good group of people in recovery, and they look like they have so much fun. But can I be honest with you guys? I feel like I don't fit in because I don't do like, I don't go to AA all the time, you know? And so I kind of feel like an outcast. So I wish I could start a group here in Little Rock for people who, you know, go to different kind of meetings. Because you all know how it is when you're somebody that like does Mara or something different. Sometimes it can make you feel kind of like left out. I don't think they intentionally do that at all, but that's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? So what I was thinking is, I could start like a fellowship group of men and women who are, you know, a fellowship of men and women who, like think out of the box recovery, and where we get together and we go have coffee and, you know, play basketball or go to the movies together, just like a fellowship group, right? And oh, you know what else would be really cool? If we could read a new literature book every, like, get together, and let's say we get together, you know, every weekend or whatever. And for the first weekend or the first month of weekends, we would read out of the Freedom Model and read that whole book together. And each time we get together for the next month, we would pick out a different recovery book and read about that, so we could learn different things about recovery and about different pathways to recovery. Because that's what I think is really important, is that we all open our minds and learn about different ways to get sober, because so many people need our support. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I try to remain like just kind of an open space for people. Ooh, look at me. I look sexy. An open space for people, you know, if they're using, if they're sober. Something came out of my ear. It felt like wax came out. And I want them to feel safe and comfortable no matter what, you know. But like I said, I get so weird in public around people because I just feel, I don't know, I get anxious a little bit. But I did have fun with my friend Heidi at my at her son's birthday. She invited me and my husband, and they were all drinking, and we didn't drink, and we had a great time. Yeah, I'm so excited. I want to read that book so bad. I ordered it. I ordered it. It's going to be interesting. We can read it together, and y'all can hear it if you want to. You don't have to, though. And remember, you guys, it's just a book. It's not like, the end-all, be-all. There's all kinds of different books. I also have this other workbook I'll show y'all. And I'll show you when I get in my room. I'm just going to wash my face. But it's really good. It's the Addiction Recovery Workbook. And it gives you, like, assignments, right? And it's not a 12-step book. It's like, but it's not like it's not, you'll see. It gives you assignments. It's called the Addiction Recovery Workbook. Oh, hey, Britt. I ordered today the book, the Freedom Model book, okay? And we have been talking and having a whole conversation, girl, about addiction not being a disease. And I'm sure I'm getting tore up in the comment section of the video I posted before this video. But if you had stayed for the conversation, I think we all agree on it. We just, I think we all agree that people are all different, but we all agree that we can overcome, our demons and heal. But does that mean that we're going to go and, because we're healed, does that mean we're going to go dance with the devil again? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Just because I know I'm healed doesn't mean I need to go and get fucked up, Because like I said, God gave us brains to use. We're not going to go out and test it, to get fucked up. Yeah, me too. Like, I like disorder also. But I just want you guys to know that there's one thing I do stand really firm on, and this other lady said it, and I said it too. You're not powerless, okay? You have the power to change your life at any time that you want to. You can turn your whole life around, all right? You are not powerless, okay? Take your power back and turn your life around, all right? You don't have to believe. And when they talk about that in the steps, they're actually, what they're referring to is that we are powerless when we're getting drugs in our body. They're not meaning it like regular. But and they're right, when we take substances into our body, it affects the way our brain operates. It affects our impulse control. So I can totally agree that when I take substances into my body, it changes the way I am. And so therefore, I lose that power. I lose my right-mindedness, So. Oh, girl. I'm so glad you're in here, Maddie. You've been such a doll. We went live on Facebook, too, and you missed it. I don't think you were in there. Okay. Peptide. All right. Oh, you did? Oh, wow. That's awesome, girl. You should come tell us how you did it. You should come up here and tell us how you did it. How were you able to get off Klonopin? Did you taper down really low? Or did you just jump? Or go to detox? Oh, this is the Ordinary. This is like a peptide serum. And then I used Murad cleanser. That's what I used first. But all these little vial things are the Ordinary, and they're super fucking cheap, dude. It's Nikki Pludre, NICKYPLOUDRE. And I've been going live there, Blunts, every day at 3:45. Because I've got almost 40,000 followers on fucking Facebook now, dude. Can you believe that? Can't believe it. Well, you're doing a great job. You just got to stay consistent and stay Stay consistent, all right? Stay plugged into the community. Stay, because it helps, okay? This is all helping you to change. Listen, doing these meetings, coming and hanging out with us, doing recovery, right? Like I said before, every time that you choose to stay sober every single day, you're healing your brain. And so you're healing your brain right now, hanging out and staying sober tonight and doing the live with us, okay? You're healing neuro pathways in your brain by choosing not to use drugs today. Do y'all know what I mean? Do you guys believe that you're healing your neuro pathways, or do you not believe it? And you know who I learned that from? I learned that from Dr. B. I actually asked him that, you know. I asked him, do people on Suboxone, does their brain heal? And he said, absolutely. He said, every time you make good choices, it helps your brain to heal. Hey, Clean, what's up? Oh, gosh. I was on Xanax, and I got off of it in 2015 because they caught me. They caught me smuggling Xanax into the treatment center because I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. I mean, that doesn't mean that you can drink again just because you're healing your neural pathways, Gracie. It just means that you're changing, because you're choosing different and you're choosing positive things. That's what I understood it to be, is that, so like if you were choosing, like if you were going out and stealing still and lying and cheating and doing all this bad shit like that, I think that's a negative against your neuroplasticity. You know? Okay. Okay, so this is vitamin C suspension. Let's see what it says. Okay. Apply a small amount to face in the AM or PM. A tingling sensation can be expected. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? You know what? I watched this video today. And the lady was talking about, she went to her doctor to have her thyroid and all that checked. And guess what happened? It came back normal. Okay? Just like my doctor said. And so then, as the difference between alcohol and the brain, I do know that he has talked about alcohol before, and like he was talking about that and benzos and how they both act similarly in the brain. But I'll have to ask him. He just called me. Oh, crap! Oh my gosh, you guys! I gotta go post a video for the clients that I manage their accounts. I love you guys. I've been live this whole time. I'll come back on. Just let me go do my job. I love y'all. Bye. Love you guys.